Hi, I'm Kat and today I have for you a true crime case. I will also be doing my makeup at the same time, and I also have a word in Romanian for you. So let's start with the word for today, which is, I have now moisturizing cream on my hair. Never mind, I'm going to sort it out. Okay, so the word for today is India. India. Well done, guys, you just said India. So it's basically the same word. And a quick disclaimer here, guys, the names are not in English, so I do apologize in advance. I'm probably gonna butcher a lot of names, so I am really sorry. Saju Shelavalel suspected that his wife was cheating on him when he choked her a few days before Christmas in 2022. The thing is though that he was the one going on dating websites instead. He then wrote an unaliving himself note describing his crime before he tried to poison his son and daughter with a cocktail of chocolate, sugar, water and sleeping pills. The children heard their mother being killed. When the children refused to drink the poison, their father strangled both of them and left their bodies together in a bedroom, whilst their mother's body was in another room. I mean, guys, this case is just crazy, completely crazy. The family only came over to the UK in 2021. They came over from India for a better future, as many of us do. Anju Ashok was born in Vycombe, India on 4th of July 1988, is fondly remembered by her parents and family. In 2021, Anju's parents, Ashok and Krishnama, bought a plot 8 kilometers away from Vycombe, but working as day laborers, they didn't really have money to secure it, but at the same time, they couldn't live with the grandchildren in that place because 6-year-old Jiva and 4-year-old Janvi were very energetic children and they just could run into the road in the blink of an eye, so it wasn't very safe. So Anju, the mother of the children, decided that she would move to the UK to join the Kettering General Hospital in Northamptonshire as a nurse in 2021. She wanted to settle down, find a home and a school before bringing the children over to the UK. In June 2022, Anju and her husband decided that now it would be a good time for the children to move over to the UK with them. When Anju and her sister Amrita were little girls, their mother Kanchana sadly ended her life. Since then, Ashok, their father, tried his best to raise the girls, investing in their education. After Anju finished school, her father took out a loan so that she could study at a nursing school in Hyderabad. In the meantime, Ashok found himself a new partner, Krishnama, who was said to be a devoted stepmother to the girls. After finishing her education, Anju worked for a few years in Saudi Arabia. Then she returned to Vycombe to prepare for the International English Language Testing System. She then worked at Amrita Hospital in Kochi before getting the job at the Kettering Hospital in the UK. Anju was a dedicated nurse, a loving mother and a loyal friend. She had been described by her colleagues and friends as very hardworking, friendly and kind. She was one to never complain and she barely missed a shift at work. Anju had married Saju in 2012. He is a native of Kombampara, which is around 320 kilometers away from Vycombe, where Anju was from. Anju actually connected with him via a marriage ad in a newspaper. Anju's father, however, he wasn't really convinced that Saju was the right man for his daughter, mainly because of their age gap of 12 years. But he had a job in Saudi Arabia and Anju believed that this would be her ticket to get a job abroad, according to her father. Saju was said to be a good man though, although I'm not quite sure I fully believe that. Even though it was said that he did have anger issues and he used to get violent over really small things, it seems that there were no major issues between the couple. After moving to the UK, Ashok could see via video calls that Saju was never pleasant and he was actually under a lot of stress because he couldn't find a job in the UK. Saju is the only brother of 6 sisters. Their father actually died more than 30 years ago and they are a really close family. His 86-year-old mom, Pankajazi, is living back home. Saju's older sister, Omana, also lives back home with their mother. She says that Anju, their only sister-in-law, was the treasure of their family. Saju had left home after he finished his pre-degree and he found a job as a driver in Bengaluru. It was later on that a company from Saudi Arabia hired him as a driver, and that's when him and Anju got married. 3 days before the tragic murders of his family, Saju had spoken to his sister. He was quite upset that he couldn't get a job in the UK because his driving license was not valid here. He also had a knee surgery to remove a lump, and he complained that he didn't have anything to keep himself busy with when the children were at school and when his wife was at work. At one point he tried to get a business going, a food delivery business in catering, but it didn't really work out according to a Malayali association member in catering. This member met Saju and Anju during their children's birthday parties as all of the children went to the same school. Catering didn't really have a big Malayali community until recently really. In the last 2 years, the General Hospital hired 200 nurses and a lot of Malayali nurses got a job there, so you know, the community kind of grew. The member talking about how they met got to the UK as well because his wife is also a nurse in the hospital. 6-year-old Jiva Saju and 4-year-old Janvi Saju attended Catering Park Infant Academy. The staff at the school described the children as caring, gentle, playful, polite and smiley. The school's head teacher described them as delightful and caring children who had many friends. On 15th of December 2022, worried neighbors called police when they couldn't contact Anju, Saju or the children by mid-morning. Prosecutor James Newton Price, King's Counsel, said that Saju was arrested after the 999 call was made at 11:12 a.m. after a neighbor saw him apparently unable to speak. After police officers smashed the window to gain access to the property, Saju was holding a knife to his own throat. He told officers that he will end his own life and asked them to shoot him. But he was tasered and handcuffed before police discovered the deceased bodies of his family. A letter written by him in English was found at the scene in which he made accusations about his wife Anju being unfaithful with her friend's husband, and he claimed to have cryptocurrency investments and $5,000 in other funds. In the letter, he said to use that amount to transfer all of their bodies back to India. Saju had strangled his wife and their 2 young children with a dressing gown cord while he was drunk. He attacked Anju before throttling 6-year-old Jiva and 4-year-old Janvi Saju with a dressing gown cord, the same cord that he used to kill his wife. He also tried to poison the children and made audio recordings as he strangled his wife while his son and daughter screamed, "Mommy." The lifeless bodies of Anju, Jiva and Janvi were discovered in a nearby room at the flat in Kettering. All 3 sadly died on December 15, 2022, when emergency services were called to the Bedtime court to report that they had suffered serious injuries. Despite the efforts of paramedics and police officers, Anju sadly died at the scene and the 2 children later died in hospital. Forensic post-mortem examinations which took place at Leicester Royal Infirmary following their deaths concluded that all three died as a result of asphyxiation. An inquest which opened shortly after the deaths was told that the two children were believed to have been strangled while Anju had died of asphyxia. Saju Chelavalel pleaded guilty to 3 counts of murder at Northampton Crown Court, and he was sentenced in the same court on July the 3rd, 2023. He was jailed for life to serve a minimum of 40 years. 40 years, 40. During the trial at Northampton Crown Court, it was revealed that Saju drank half a bottle of Jack Daniels and he killed his wife at around 10 p.m. He believed that his wife was unfaithful when he violently choked her just a few days before Christmas. He then wrote the suicide note detailing what he did before trying to poison his children, his son and daughter, with a cocktail of chocolate, sugar, water and sleeping pills. When the children refused to drink because it tasted bad, Saju strangled both children and left their bodies together in a bedroom at around 2:30 a.m. Audio footage was played in court where coughs, screams and crying could be heard as Saju was strangling his wife. It was revealed in court that there was absolutely no evidence of any affair on Anju's phone, even though Saju claimed she was cheating on him and the proof would be on her phone. He even told police to check her phone and they will see that he's not lying. On the other hand, however, police found searches for women on dating websites made by Saju on December the 3rd and the 12th. During police interviews, Saju claimed that he couldn't remember killing the children, but he said that he lost control of himself when his wife made an offensive comment about his mother. The couple also got into an argument about the children's clothing for the next day. Addressing Saju's claims that his wife was unfaithful to him, Mr. Carter Stevenson, his King's Counsel, said that even though there is no evidence and obviously he was wrong, he still holds the same view. The King's Counsel also said that the audio recording was made because it was simply left on from a period when the children were heard singing. Passing sentence, High Court Judge Mr. Justice Pepperell told Saju that his actions were brutal and extraordinarily selfish. Both children would have been terrified and deeply traumatized after hearing their mother's murder. The judge also said that Saju killed his wife in a fit of rage after a minor argument. Quote, fueled by alcohol, wallowing in self-pity, engulfed in your resentment at your wife's perceived infidelity, you instead chose to snuff out their young and precious lives. Even if you had been right in your suspicions, let me make clear that nothing could possibly justify violence, let alone the brutal murders of your family. I should make plain that the police did indeed investigate your claim of an affair and found no evidence whatsoever that your wife was involved with another man. Not only was her supposed infidelity a figment of your imagination, but the police investigation revealed your hypocrisy in that it was you and not your wife who had been searching dating websites in the days leading up to these offenses. Your attack upon your wife was recorded. While you were squeezing the life out of your wife, your young children can be heard crying in the background for their mommy. Having listened to that harrowing recording, I cannot be sure that they were eyewitnesses to their mother's murder, but it is clear that they heard what was going on and knew that she was being hurt by you. End of quote. The evidence in court also showed that within minutes of killing his wife at around 10 p.m. on December 14th, Saju decided that his children must also die. Shortly after 2:30 a.m., he strangled both of the children. Before strangling the children, he ground up tablets and then put them in a chocolate drink. In the recording, 20 minutes after he killed his wife, one child is complaining that the drink made them sick, so they refused to drink it. According to his own account, Saju read the children bedtime stories, then went to sleep with them. With the children refusing the chocolate drink after 2:30 a.m., he strangled them. His 6-year-old son was first, and then his 4-year-old daughter. The court also heard from Sarah Powell, the head teacher of Catherine Park Infant Academy, where Jiva and Janvi attended. She described Jiva and Janvi as valued and much missed members of the school community. She said, quote, "I'm incredibly proud of how the school community have all worked together to try and understand what has happened, and we were privileged to hold a memorial to remember Janvi, Jiva and their mother Anju with the support of our trust and governors. We have 2 colorful benches in our playground to remember them both." Having the 2 police officers and next of kin present during this memorial meant a lot to our whole school community. The school have also created an album of memories of the children from their time at the school. End of quote. In a statement, a spokesperson for Anju's family said, quote, "The life of Anju's parents and siblings back in India will never be the same without her. She came to this country with a lot of expectations and dreams. She was not expecting a tragic death from her husband, whom she trusted. Her only surviving sister and the aunt of Jiva and Janvi is so traumatized that she hasn't recovered from this incident's mental shock and deep scars. Indeed, she was hospitalized for a week in India due to the shock of what happened." End of quote. The spokesperson also said that Saju caused deep upset to the family by trying to contact Anju's family from prison. Anju's father, 60-year-old Arakal Ashokan, who works in construction in India, said that when people told him about Anju's death, he just couldn't believe it. He didn't believe it until he saw the bodies at the airport. That's when he realized that they are no longer in this world. At first, he believed that Anju was in some kind of an accident, as no one told him about how she had died. Then someone told him that the children also died. Senior investigating officer Detective Inspector Simon Barnes said that he was pleased Saju pleaded guilty and spared Anju's family and friends the pain of a trial. He will have to live with what he did forever. He also said, quote, "Anju Asok will be remembered as so much more than this man's victim. She was a dedicated nurse, a loving mother and loyal friend. My thoughts remain with her loved ones and will continue to do so long into the future." End of quote. On Thursday, March 16, D.I. Barnes, the case's family liaison officer, D.C. Mark Albright, and the family's representative, Manoj Matthew, attended Catherine Park Infant Academy for a remembrance ceremony. All of the children in Janvi and Jiva's classes were given a balloon, either pink, blue or silver, to represent Janvi, Jiva and Anju. The children gathered outside and were joined by the rest of the school whilst Somewhere Over the Rainbow played. The balloons were then released as Nick Gray, the safeguarding governor, explained the symbolism to the children. A poem was read and a minute's silence was held. The children then went back into the school past 2 new memorial benches. D.I. Barnes added, quote, "It was an honor to be invited to this ceremony and join the children in remembering Anju and their 2 classmates, Jiva and Janvi. We were privileged to be shown their classrooms and spend some time with their teachers. We were handed a beautiful remembrance book full of pictures and messages from the children's classmates and all of the stuff. This is now with the family in India. Whilst my team and I have a professional job to do, we are not immune to the personal impact such tragedies cause. The school did the family proud in what was a very touching tribute. All 3 were much loved and will be missed by everyone." End of quote.
A father who strangled his wife and their 2 young children has been jailed for a minimum of 40 years for their murder. Saju Chelavalel killed his wife, NHS nurse Anju Asok, just days before Christmas, after wrongly believing she'd had an affair. He then read his 6-year-old son Jiva and 4-year-old daughter Janvi bedtime stories before killing them too. A warning that this report from Ellie Pitt contains some distressing details.
This suitcase contains the possessions, a handbag, kids' drawings that belong to Arakal and Krishnama's daughter and 2 grandchildren. The trio had moved to the UK from South India, but this new chapter in their lives lasted barely a year.
I
did not believe it until I saw their bodies at the airport. There I lost all my control and realised that they are no longer in this world. He killed them all and destroyed our life.
Anju was described as a kind and conscientious nurse who began working at Kettering General Hospital in October 2021. She lived with her husband, their 6-year-old son Jiva and 4-year-old daughter Janvi. Staff at their infant school remember the siblings as polite and smiley. But in December last year, Saju Chelavalal killed his wife and children.
Put the knife down! Put it down! The knife down!
Police discovered their bodies and Chelavalal in the family home. He begs them to shoot him and is tasered after holding a knife to his throat. He later told officers he thought his wife was cheating on him, but detectives found no evidence Anju was having an affair and actually uncovered that he'd been on dating websites in the days before the murders.
His primary role as a husband and a father was protect his family from harm. They should have been at their safest, at home, with him, but he destroyed that.
These grandparents were kept updated on their loved ones' lives in England, but they'll never see if young Janvi follows in her mother's nursing footsteps. They now only have photos and memories of an entire generation of their family. Ellie Pitt, ITV News.
The Kettering Malayali Welfare Association, which supports more than 300 Malayali families in the community, set up a fundraiser to help with repatriation costs for Anju, Jiva and Janvi. It reached the £25,000 target in just over 24 hours. The court gave its verdict in this case after 7 months, and Saju was sentenced to 40 years in prison on July the 4th, Anju's birthday. Anju's father said that she always dreamed of building a home and he's planning to fulfill that dream for her. He will use the insurance money he received or is due to receive, I'm not exactly sure, from her death. He will build a home, and he said that he will leave one room empty in memory of his daughter and her children. He also said that he will fill that room with their books, photos and toys. The deceased bodies of Anju and her children were taken back to Kerala, India, Anju's native place, on January 15 after interventions of the Malayali Association in the UK. And guys, this is a horrific story of an entire family just gone. It's horrendous, really. Thank you so much for staying with me today. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. For now, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!